On 9/11, the New York Fire Department members were the heroes of the country, heroes of the world. So many of them died trying to save other people. But this racist culture in the United States permeates everything, no matter where you look. This is why white bastards like DeSantis is just one example. In Florida, the governor of Florida doesn't want racial issues to be taught. Another federal court judge, this one from Brooklyn, New York, his name is Nick Gus. He cited an incident involving members of the New York City Fire Department who were booing the Attorney General Letitia James and chanting in favor of the orange pig, Donald Trump, last month. And this Brooklyn federal court judge, in citing this incident, is suggesting a strong racist culture persisting at the New York Fire Department, which is really a sad thing to hear. I mean, I was just absolutely shocked. Now, this judge, Nicholas Garofis, federal district judge, or not district, federal, Brooklyn federal court, he recently ordered the commissioner of the New York Fire Department, her name is Laura Kavanagh, and the city's general counsel, another person named Sylvia Radix, he ordered these two people to appear before him at a status conference scheduled to discuss the settlement of a society of black firefighters in their case against the FDNY in May. This is when they're ordered to appear, in May. This is according to New York Daily News. Now, at the last status conference on March 14th, the president of that black firefighters organization, it's called the Vulcan Society, the president of that group, Regina Wilson, complained to the judge about an incident that occurred on March 8th where some members of the New York Fire Department booed Miss James and chanted, "Trump, Trump, Trump," as Miss James, the Attorney General, took the stage during a promotion ceremony at the Christian Cultural Center in Brooklyn. She was there to assist in the promotion of certain members of the New York Fire Department. And when she took the stage, booing, and chants of Trump. Now, it happened weeks after the Orange Bastard was found liable for hundreds of millions of dollars in damages in that civil fraud case brought against him, his family and the whole Trump organization, by Letitia James. The head of the Vulcan Society, firefighters, black firefighters, Regina Wilson, she said, quote, "I don't know if you had an opportunity to just see the vile nature of these members, even when we were at Christian Cultural Center, where they started booing and saying, 'Trump, Trump, Trump,' while Letitia James was at the podium." Ms. Wilson added this, quote, "This behavior is who this department is. Not all of them, but a large portion of them. So when black people go to work and have to deal with this, and you don't get any help or support really from the department, it's horrific," end quote. The horror of this to me, if you're a firefighter, if you choose that business, I don't think you choose it because of the money. I don't know what firefighters get paid in New York City. It's immaterial. I think people who choose to go to work especially as a first responder, emergency medicine, technician, EMT, or a firefighter, I think there is a higher calling involved. I do. I just believe that, because those people are going to be asked at some point in their career to respond to a situation in which their lives may be in bad danger. So, as far as I'm concerned, it takes a certain type of person to decide, yeah, I want to do a job where my life may be put in danger, but I'll be working to help people. So the black firefighters who have that mindset, I'm assuming, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what their individual mindsets are, but I think it has something to do with service. But for the black firefighters who are members of the Vulcan Society, to know every day when they go to work that they're going to work for an organization that is being considered racist is something I can't comprehend. I don't know how a black firefighter would then be comfortable putting himself or herself in a group of white people, knowing that maybe if the crunch came and they needed help from their white brothers or sisters, maybe that help wouldn't be there. What a horrible thought. Now, I don't know that black firefighters have that mindset ever, but how could they not, after seeing their fellow officers, the white ones anyway, booing Letitia James for doing her goddamn job and chanting for this criminal son of a bitch, Donald Trump? I mean, the message is clear. It's not a political message. It's a racist message. Anyway, the judge in this dust-up, Brooklyn Federal Court Judge Nicholas Garofis, this is what he said, quote, "Get the Equal Employment Opportunity Office straightened out. Take some of your brilliant lawyers from the city's legal counsel and put them in there and start holding hearings. That's not a request. That's a direction," end quote. This is according to New York Daily News, or Daily News. And then this judge added this, quote, "I've lived in New York City all my life. I know what the problem is. And believe me, front and center is what happened the other day. This doesn't have to do with politics. This has to do with race," end quote, the judge. Now, this organization of black firefighters, the Vulcan Society, has accused the city of discrimination in a lawsuit which was filed back in 2007, and the city of New York agreed to settle for $98 million in back pay and benefits for minority firefighters. The ones who are trying to work their way up the ladder were being held back. I'm not trying to be comedic when I say work their way up the ladder. You know what I'm talking about. But they were granted $98 million in back pay and benefits, these minority firefighters, back in 2014. Now, in 2011, while the case was still ongoing, this judge, the Brooklyn Federal Court Judge, Nick Gus, he ruled that firefighter exams intentionally discriminated against black people. Intentionally. A federal appeals court eventually overturned what Judge Garofis had ruled or concluded, but the federal appeals court allowed the proposed solution, including the appointment of a federal monitor, to stand, to continue. I don't understand a ruling like that, where the appeals court, federal appeals court, overturned the conclusion of Judge Garofis, but let stand his solutions to a problem that the federal appeals court says, well, that doesn't exist. What the hell is going on? You see why black folks sometimes just throw up their hands and say, fuck this, I can't handle this. Now, the head of the Vulcan Society, the president, Regina Wilson, has had a lot of complaints about the backlog of these EEO complaints, Equal Employment Opportunity complaints. And those complaints are supposed to be investigated within 30 days of their being filed. That's according to New York City policy, according to what I've read. And at the hearing last month, in March, officials from the fire department argued that the department has just half the investigative attorneys on staff compared to what they had when the COVID virus onset, when the COVID-19 virus started attacking all of us in 2020. And officials for the fire department in New York said that these cases are being assigned to lawyers in other FDNY bureaus and to the law department, while the FDNY works to hire more people to address the shortage of attorneys who investigate these situations. Okay? The judge, though, Judge Garofas, said this, quote, "You have 900 lawyers sitting doing other things in the city's legal counsel's office and lawyers all over the city government. Put them on detail. They already work for you. And do it. 180 days is not acceptable. And I want the commissioner here at the next meeting," end quote. So the judge in this is, like I would imagine a lot of judges around the country, especially in the age of Trump, are just getting so fucking tired of all these machinations and delays and whiny ass statements saying, well, we don't have the people hired. Hire them then. So the bottom line to this story, as far as I'm concerned, is a blatant example of overt racism when the Attorney General of the state of New York, Letitia James, got a conviction against a criminal fucking thug, Donald Trump, who tried to overthrow the government of the United States. Do the fire department members in New York City not understand what's going on here? They can't be stupid people. Fire department employees, firefighters, they can't be stupid people. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.